Today we're going to be, me and Emery are going to be running up to visit some family for a few minutes, but I wanted to take the opportunity to hop in the truck with you guys and talk about the torque converter repair and drive the truck around and tell you guys what I think. Okay, so as far as the repair went, I think some things could have went better, but things could have definitely went a whole lot worse. So there was a couple things that I wish were different. One is that I have always, you know, I've got this image in my head of my dream shop, and one day I hope to be able to own or at least buy some property and either build a house or already have a house on it with a shop, or build a shop, you know, just a combination of any of that. Because I love the location where we live now. I love the home that we have now, and I'd be totally fine with dying in that house, you know, never moving again. But I have always, you know, wanted to have my own land, maybe, you know, a farm, have some cows, things like that. I've always wanted that, because growing up we had cows, you know, and me and my grandfather would go work them, and you know, I was driving a tractor by the time I was like, you know, 10, 11 years old. And so it was just, it was a fun time, you know. So I've always wanted something like that, but mainly, you know, my love for cars, and you know, I'm starting to really love working on trucks. You know, I've never really worked on trucks much. My very first vehicle ever, if you guys go back and watch my every vehicle I ever owned video, my very first truck or vehicle I ever owned when I turned 16 was a 1987 Silverado. And so you know, that's why I do really love this truck, because I feel like that it is the most accurate representation of what the 87 Silverados would look like today. Just kind of the squared, you know, body look. You know, there's definitely, you know, things being newer, we've definitely rounded off a few edges here and there, you know, through the years. But I really feel like this is one of the best representations of the old school Chevy look in a newer truck, and I love that. But it, you know, working on it has really, you know, kind of made me enjoy, you know, working on it. I never really thought about it, because like I've said over and over and over again, we bought this truck so that way we wouldn't have to work on it. It would just be like this is our newest vehicle, it's just going to work forever, which it has proven that is definitely not the case. But that was our thought process at the time. I've had this thought in my head for a long time about what my dream shop would be like, and you know, not going to get into details on that today, but one thing for sure is it would have a lift or two. So you know, I've always wanted to have a lift, you know, a two-post lift. You know, I've worked on some of those drive-on lifts that you just drive on and it lifts the vehicle, but you're really limited to what you can do on those. A lot of times those are just used for like oil changes and whatnot, which I wouldn't mind having one just to be able to do that, you know, drive the truck up on it, lift it up, change the oil real quick. Or if I'm, you know, eventually having project vehicles that I would like to have in the future, pull something on it, lift it up, lock it down, and then drive something under there and have it parked as like a stacked storage bunk bed type of situation there. A shop with a lift. That's about as bare bone basics as you can get, you know, as far as like a dream shop is concerned. So having that would have been nice as far as fixing the truck is concerned. So having the lift, you know, and so didn't have that. I was working on my back on a creeper the entire time, and broke my old creeper, had to go buy a new one. That kind of sucked. But a transmission jack would have been super nice to have too. So if I ever have to do this job again, I'll probably invest in like a used or a cheap transmission jack from Harbor Freight. Probably, you know, use as many coupons as possible and pick up one of those. Definitely not a bad tool to have in the toolbox. Definitely not. But I don't really plan on working on transmissions that much, you know. But it's just kind of one of those things. It's like, you know, you hope you never have to use it really, but when you need it, it's there, and it's really nice. So that is one of my things, is that when I put the transmission up in the truck, I was using my floor jack, and that was really awful. It was very stressful. The video doesn't show it. It looks like it was just about as graceful as it could have been, but I'm telling you, it was awful. I was totally alone. I was by myself. If I would have been able to like have someone there just to work the jack for me, then it wouldn't have been nearly as bad. But I had to manipulate the jack, had to use my legs, and I had to like position the transmission just right, get it at the correct angle. It was work. It was hard work, and I was trying to get it done quickly, which, you know, my thought process behind it is like, you know, who wouldn't want to get it done quickly? But my thought process behind it was the less time that this thing is sitting on the jack, the better. So I got it up in there, and so, you know, if not a lift, transmission jack for sure. Only other issue is that, you know, the same kind of area, you know, the transmission sitting on the jack, it actually, you know, kind of rocked forward a couple times and fell forward a couple times. This is where some of you may have even noticed it. Torque converter almost fell out of the front of the bell housing. Like, I'll play a clip, but you can see there where the torque converter is basically just hanging on by the input shaft, which is really bad. Like, that could have ripped the it could have damaged the torque converter, one. It could have damaged the internals of the transmission with all that weight hanging on the input shaft like that. Could have damaged the O-ring that seals everything up to keep fluid inside. I mean, it could have done 1,000 different awful things. God looking down on me and just blessing me, because the torque converter seated up inside the pump perfectly fine. Like, it just got pushed back up in there, and I was able to get the torque converter bolts threaded in, and the bell housing bolts, you know, torqued down, and no leaks. The truck's been running good ever since. Really, that's about the worst part. I hated the fact that the dipstick got ripped down by the trans. It just got hung up and it broke, and I had to go buy another one. That sucked. So, you know, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. But I mean, it's just one of those things. I just hated to have to spend that money. It's just dollar signs racked up the entire time this process was going on. So moving forward, I didn't really have any more hiccups as far as like getting the truck repair finished. I think really the only thing, there's only two things that I need to just dive under the truck and either fix or look at, and that is that I remember having to disconnect. I connected the vent tube for the transfer case to move the wiring around it, because I kind of had them all tangled up. And I can't remember, I got the wiring all hooked back up, but I can't remember if I ever got the vent tube put back on the nipple or not. I'm pretty sure I subconsciously did it. I just need to dive into there and look, because it's not good if I mess that up, or if I didn't put that back on. So, I mean, it's not going to hurt it too much, but it's supposed to help keep dirt and stuff out, and, you know, let it vent properly. So there's that. And the only other thing that I know I'm going to have to fix, that I'm probably going to fix here pretty soon, is the clamp that goes around where the Y pipe of the exhaust, the big portion that I took out, connects to the flex pipe that connects to the back end of the exhaust. Not only did I break the original bolt off of it, I had to get a different bolt, but like, I don't know what's going on with it. It's kind of wonky, and so there is a slight exhaust leak at that joiner. So I need to dive into there and either try and reorient that thing correctly, or just get a new one. I'll probably end up getting a new one because they're super duper cheap. And just the thing that is hurting me the most, or that was hurting me the most about getting that thing put back together, is that it's actually welded to the flex pipe portion. So it's fixed in one particular spot, which is probably great for manufacturing processes. But for me, getting those two things to line back up perfectly was nearly impossible. It took everything I had. Probably also didn't help the fact that the bolt that I had was probably about 15 millimeters shorter than it needed to be, and so I had to like manipulate it in such a way that I could get it started with my electric impact. You guys didn't even get to see that part because my GoPro battery died. Other than that, it was great. I hated that it took me literally a whole week, which granted, I put timestamps on every single part of the video. So I worked on it Thursday, and then I worked on it again that following Saturday, and then I worked on it a little bit with Shane on Sunday. Sunday is when we got the transmission out of the truck. And then I did a little bit of work Tuesday evening, and then I didn't work on it again until this past Thursday. So it took a week to repair it, but it only took me, I think it's like 9 hours total to do what I did. So maybe a little bit more, maybe just a round number of 10 hours. So not horrible, especially considering I didn't have a lift that entire time. But, you know, so not horrible. moving on, ever since, and I'm going to get to how it's driving here in a minute. I think you guys can probably tell that anyway, just by the context of where we are. After I got the, the torque converter in and took the truck for a drive, that kind of busted me wide open, or busted the truck wide open as far as like kind of fixing it up a little bit. Because like I said earlier, and that I have in every single video, I just didn't think that this would be a vehicle that I had to put a lot of money or work into. But little things I don't mind, replacing. I replaced the airbox filter. I replaced the cabin air filter, which I put a picture of that on Instagram. You guys should really go look at that. Two things. One, there was a mouse in there. Well, not when I opened it, but previously there was literally a mouse nest in there. And two, the person that it was replaced before, and the person that put it in broke the door, the cabin air filter door. So I ordered a new one of those. They broke that because when I pulled it off, literally one clip on the main two clips, one of them on the right side literally fell off, and I had to like fish it out and get it. And so that sucked. So I ordered a new one of those, but they also put the cabin air filter in upside down, and they bent it. So it was barely doing its job at all. I was surprised this thing was even pushing out any heat or air. So they can technically backflow, but there's an orientation for a reason, guys. Damn. Yes, ma'am. Can I get a Route 44 vanilla root beer with easy ice, please?
What else for you?
That's it. So I've got a new cabin air filter cover plate door latch thing on the way. Had to do a little bit of digging to find that part number. If you guys need that, by the way, for any reason, let me know. I'll put it in the description or something, or I'll comment on it. Let's see. I also replaced the spark plugs. And by the way, all this stuff that I'm mentioning that you guys haven't seen videos of, you're not going to see videos of it. I didn't film it for a reason, and that's just simply because, like, if you're changing spark plugs in this truck, you probably already know how, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like, I could have made a video on how to do spark plugs in this truck, but it's a 5.3 Chevy, and there are probably, I'm just gonna wager a guess, there's probably 1,000 videos on YouTube that show you how to replace the spark plugs in a 5.3 Chevy. So I just didn't bother. I just got the work done. I also replace something that I did make a video of, so I'm not going to tell you guys that. It's something small, so it's not a big deal, but it was a huge difference for me. Oh, and I checked the tire pressure today. I aired up the tires to a decent tire pressure. So yeah, even though I've done all these things, and whether the air filter or the spark plugs attribute to how well the truck is driving, I did drive it a lot before I did that work. So I can happily say that the truck is driving perfectly. I'm very pleased with how well everything is going. Even with like doing the spark plugs and the air filter, those two little basic things, the truck is driving better than it ever has. It's fantastic. But of course, there's the spark plugs, the air filter, the new torque converter, but there's also the fact that it's got brand new transmission fluid in it. I changed the oil. I put a picture on that on Instagram as well. I changed the oil, so it's got fresh oil filter, fresh transmission fluid, fresh transfer case fluid. So yeah, the truck is driving phenomenally. And I don't even know if if torque converters have like a break-in period. If they do, let me know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about torque converters at all. I'm a clutch guy. I'm a manual transmission guy. So when it comes to torque converters, I mean, if it has a break-in period, I don't know about it. Just to let you guys kind of aware about something. I'm doing all these things to the truck not only to maintain a vehicle that we own, but I'm also going to be doing a few more things to the truck throughout this year. One big thing is tires. That's kind of like a given. If you guys have looked at my tires at all, you guys know that I've been needing some tires. But the ones that are on here have been fantastic since we bought the truck. They've been great, really. But I'm definitely gonna be putting tires on this year. I'm kind of prepping the truck for something big. So, but the thing is that, you know, I might put something up about it on this channel, but it's going to be more for my secondary channel. So if you guys have not checked that channel out, there's not a whole lot going on that channel right now because of the way guns and ammunition is in the world right now. It's just kind of hard to find any of that. You know, but I do have some stuff going up periodically, but I do have something big coming to that channel sometime this year. So, you know, yeah, I'm doing all the automotive work on this channel, but the end result will be on my second channel, Fralix Arms. So, with all that being said, you guys, like I said, truck driving phenomenally, cruise control works good, four-wheel drive works great. AC is still cold, which we don't really need AC right now, but you know, it still works, and it's really driving better than it ever has, truly. So hope you guys enjoyed this follow-up to the repair videos. I posted the very last one today. Actually, I posted it this morning, and it's gotten a couple of views. Not, you know, huge turnout of views on these videos yet, but usually stuff like this takes time to catch some traction, so who knows. I'm expecting, you know, a couple thousand views between the three of them. So anyway, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed you know, just this little ride along and the update of you know, how the repair went and everything. So I'm pleased, I'm very pleased. So thank you guys for watching. Share the videos with your dog, eat your vegetables, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.